So yesterday I recorded a live sales training with real feedback, and when I watched it back, I realized this is probably the most valuable sales breakdown I've ever recorded. We went through an actual discovery call, handling objections, pricing psychology, how to close without being pushy, and also what to say when they hesitate. This is the same framework that's closed me over $2 million in sales systems deals, and I thought I'd share a snippet of it with you because most people fail at sales calls, not at actually building systems. So if you want to see how to actually get prospects to pay you 3 to 5 all the way to 10K, this is it. So enjoy. Hey Yugi, good to see you, man. Did you guys check out the post of Akash? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that really made my day. Closing a 5.7K deal. It's insane. So we're going for recruitment, and then let's just make it broad. Okay, let's just go for a broad recruitment. Basically, we're gonna dissect the entire sales call nerd level style, as always. If you guys don't know,
Hey,
Deepish
Russ.
is not only handsome, but also a great salesperson.
Oh, come on, man. That's sweet. Thank you. I've been having problems with Zoom for the past 15 minutes. My bad.
So you're gonna be the closer, okay? We're gonna go pure connector style positioning, obviously the most premium positioning, and then Lucas is gonna be the prospects. He's gonna be essentially like a recruiter, hiring manager within a company, and you're gonna be the closer. And I'm just gonna give you guys basically my feedback in real time. Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
For
Let's
people
get
that are
into
new
it.
here, basically the way we run this is basically we pick every single week a closer and we pick another person who's going to be the prospect. And then, yeah, we just go from there. Essentially, you're just a decision maker within that
Mm.
company. And you received an email from Deep and it was like, hey, I can connect you with companies actively hiring. So you were like, sure, that's nice. Let's hop on a call. And now you're essentially just skeptical. You don't know anything, right? And
Okay.
the goal the goal for him is to get you to pay him. Okay? All right.
Just a little bit more context, Lucas. Usually, how these things go is that, especially for recruitment, they've probably worked with someone like me. They've worked with a lead agency before. It's like an ex-girlfriend who's scared to fall back in love. They don't know if they want to trust someone like me again, especially with like upfront cost. So make it super hard. It's like, why should we trust you? Why is there a reason for me to trust you when I've been burned in the past? You could use that as well. Make it super hard for me.
Okay, cool. I'll actually learn too. Like as Luke, I'll be learning too. So that's cool.
All right, let's do it. Hi, Lucas. I'm so glad you could make it on the call today. How you been, man?
Good, thank you. How are you, man?
Better than I deserve. Tell me, Lucas, where you from? Where you calling in from?
San Diego.
San Diego, beautiful. How was the weather treating you recently?
It's San Diego. So there's your answer.
Fair enough. I'm from Canada myself. I'm in India right now traveling, but I kind of feel you there. It's better than Canada. You know, you don't have to worry about 8 months depression winter. So yeah, I love to get all into it. Basically, a synopsis I like to tell people in a great two ways. We help businesses find their ideal clients. There's different ways to do that. I know that sounds very vague and a bit stupid, but I kind of explain the method behind the madness and all that we do here. But usually, how I take on these calls is that I kind of ask you a few questions. Basically, I'm playing on the role of a doctor. Before I give you the medication, I want to make sure that the symptoms line up with what we have to sell. Otherwise, we would make things worse and not better. So I kind of start off with asking you a few teaser questions, nothing hard like calculus, but it'll give me a good idea on what you tried, what you've been doing, specifically your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile. It's a very nerdy way of saying who you sell to, and all these different things. And then hopefully from there, we're able to devise a long-term strategy that'll be able to work for you. Does that sound fair enough for you?
Great opening. I like the way you frame it, Deep. I like the small talk. Excellent. You're casual by nature. You're charismatic. One thing, since you're already like there are in recruitment, I would not say,
Mhm.
hey, you give me more answers about your ICP. You already know their
Mhm.
ICP. Okay, so
Yeah,
you want to
fair
be
enough.
specific and be hyper targeted. Okay, so
Uh,
what you want to say, okay, first of all, you want to say you kind of you kind of did it but not like a great way was pretty good, but you can definitely make it better. You can say, hey name, thanks for jumping on. Before I explain what we do, well, we can transition from that when they say, well, what is it that you do? Well, You give a little bit of background, just one line, two line max, and you say, hey, thanks for jumping on. Before I explain what we do, I need to understand your word first, which is something that we mentioned last week. You can
Mhm.
start with, hey, I need to understand your word first. Quick question. What type of role makes you the most money and causes you the least headaches to fill? Because we're going for recruitment.
So,
We want to have like a good discovery, a good opening, and you want to build value before they even ask. So
mhm.
thanks for jumping on. Before I
So
explain what we do, I need to understand your word first. Quick question. What type of
Mhm.
roles make you the most money and causes you the less headaches? So I'm doing two things. Like what makes you the most amount of money, what causes you less headaches. Okay. So you
Mhm.
want to make them talk first. Okay. When people talk about themselves, we all know this. Their brain releases
Mhm.
dopamine because they feel good. So this makes them like you without knowing why. Also, when they
Mhm.
answer, they're literally telling you how to sell them. So you're gathering
Mhm.
intelligence disguised as friendly conversation.
Fair enough. So, Lucas, tell me something. What type of role makes you the most money and causes you the most headache as well?
The AI space is popping off now, so you get a lot of people that think that they're AI engineers, and that's a thing that's been coming up often, where
Yeah.
it turns out that coders don't generally want to learn AI engineering as much as internet internet superheroes, and there's a fine line between them, and it's tough to weed out. So I'm having difficulty essentially connecting those engineers to the biotech companies because one, I can't, so I already have the engineers. I just can't get the biotech companies on the phone. So I'm not quite sure how to, so I do have an influx of actual engineers. I just don't know how to place them in jobs. That's the problem I'm having.
Yeah,
Okay.
it makes sense. So it
Okay.
sounds like you have these engineers who are awesome at what they do, but they're in a very niche form. It's a very specific in biotech, very specific in AI, and you want to be able to showcase their talents to these bigger companies like Oracle's and all these tech giants that want to harness
Right.
that awesomeness from
I'm
you
with it.
people.
Yeah, I'm with it. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good. I see why you guys are having difficulties there. It's basically just a story of marketing them a bit differently, which is something we've done for recruitment agencies like yours before. But yeah, let's hear more about how you guys are conducting your business. So is most of these placements through referrals? How are you getting your bright and talented people connected with these companies?
Yeah, we start with as many connections as we can drum up from, our history and referrals and stuff. But as soon as we tap that, we've been trying to go through cold DMing and cold emailing, and we found a little bit of success if we follow it up with cold calling, but we're having issues with we don't have a team, and so it's difficult for us to we don't have a team large enough in order to make sure that we are keeping track of all of the all the communications. The pipelines are getting a little bit lost because we'll get a response from an email, and then we'll have like a phone call conversation. We don't have enough KPI tracking. Essentially, we're losing track of everything.
Yeah, I get it. So, like, sounds like you guys have different avenues of getting this. Referrals is a very strong one because you have good brand reputation, but there's no KPIs. There's not a clear CRM where you are able to track all of this and see your success metrics, see where the drop off is, and have everything
Yeah,
organized. Mhm.
we're a little confused because like we've heard there's some good CRMs, like there's close.com for cold calling, but then there's stuff for cold email, and then there's like, HubSpot, and then there's
That's kind of a similar problem Connect Group was having too. So we kind of partnered with Maya Process, and basically the crux there to get them 39 placements was the same thing. It was to organize all of this, and our strategy spearheaded that. Is let's get all of this fixed up. Let's get all of this organized. And the thing is, you only need one avenue to kill it in. It could be cold calling. If that works for someone, great.
Mhm.
The best way we found it is very personal, timely, and relevant emails that works great with all the AI capabilities that are out there. That's how we kill it in our game. So you just need
Mhm.
one. You just need to kill it in one and to focus, put all your focus into one. And that's how you'll see outsized gains when you focus on
Okay,
one
but
avenue.
here's the
You're able
thing.
to.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry to I'm sorry to cut you off. I just don't want to waste your time or my time. We've had a similar pitch before where it's like just one channel, and we've actually had a few times where we got really excited about it, and it just amounted to a lot of wasted time because it costs us, it costs us a little bit of money, but a lot of time, which in turn costs us a lot of money. So, without enough results. And in fact, by doing it the way that it was proposed, like you're proposing right now, it did hurt our reputation.
Okay,
So,
okay, pause. Okay, great. That was great. That was great. You guys did a great job. Um, if you guys notice, there's something. Our prospects here, they have multiple pain points. So sometimes when they start listing multiple pain points, because I hear HubSpot, now we want ideal clients, we want to use AI, all this stuff. A good thing that Deep actually did is he listened, he didn't interrupt. He essentially just, you want to let the prospect vent because every pain point they mention is kind of like ammunition and basically ammo for you to close later. Now, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole when they start like venting so much, like 45 minutes. So what you want to do is you want to say after they finish, you want to be like, hey, okay, so if I'm hearing right, and then you want to summarize basically the 2 to 3 biggest pain points in your own words, and you say, hey, is that accurate? So you just
Mm.
want to show them that you've listened, because when you repeat their pain points back to them in a clearer language, and they said it, their brain thinks like, this guy actually gets me. This person gets me. So it's gonna build trust, okay? And it's called mirroring, which is exactly what Deep actually did. When someone feels understood, they automatically trust you more. But you want to ask the next following question, which is, out of everything you just mentioned, what's the one thing that if we fix in the next 90 days, would have like the biggest impact in your business? Because you
Mm.
want to force them to prioritize. Because most people
Mhm.
have 10 problems, but only 1 to 2 that actually matter. Only one
Mhm.
to 2 that actually move the needle. So when they pick the
Mhm.
biggest, most painful like problem, that's your leverage point. That's what
Mm.
you solve for. Everything else is just noise, okay? Also, when they pick the priority, right, not you, they're mentally committed. So their brain now is kind of like seeing that problem as their goal, and you're just a tool to get there, okay? Now, obviously, the
Okay.
biggest pain point is going to be, like he said, connecting with the companies hiring. So Deep would say, "Hey, yeah, got it. If we could consistently get you in front of X number of companies per month who are actively hiring, for example, their exact ideal role, because we extrapolate that from the first question, what kind of roles that make you the most amount of money and causes you the less headaches, and you can say, hey, and you're closing even, for example, like just a normal conservative number of those. Does that solve the biggest pain points that we just mirrored that they just mentioned?
Mm.
So you get them to
all
state the
right.
biggest priority, the
Yeah.
highest priority thing, and then you're connecting your solution directly to their stated priority that they just said, not what you think they need, what they said they need, and you're making them do the math in their head. So when they say yes, they're just solved themselves. Okay, does that make sense? So let's pivot into like the hardest questions. Okay, for example, let's make it pretty hard. Like for example, let's pretend that Lucas said would be something like I already do inbound and outreach. I jumped on this call because you wrote me already that you have in your network that you can enter me. This is what Max said in the chat. Let's actually answer this
That's a good
question
one. Yeah, that's a
because
good
it's a
one.
hard one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole idea of this call here, Lucas, is that like I mentioned before, prescribing anything, I want to make sure the symptoms line up. I want to see exactly how, where, when we're able to help you out, and it sounds like it would be a correct fit. So, like, I'll get into how the sausage is being made. So, I heard a lot of pain points from you, but the main one is that you need consistent, reliable placements with the amazing, fantastic talent you have within these biotech, mostly biotech and AI niches, and you want a guarantee to be able to get these connections into a more stable pipeline month by month. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
I don't even mind
I feel
sharing my
understood. I feel like you deeply understand me, man. You know,
that's
nobody's. I feel like half
Okay,
of
do you
your
guys want to
voice is
hear how to actually
explaining.
tackle this?
yes, let's do it, Seth.
So you want to say, yeah, sure. Let me clarify what I mean by network. What I do is I maintain relationships with companies in their target industry who are actively scaling and hiring. Part of what we do is we stay plugged into their word, tracking when they are expanding, when they are posting roles, when they're showing signs they need help. So when I say network, what I do is essentially just I have a systematic access to companies in hiring mode. And the difference between me, because it's gonna come as an hey, are you a referral partner?
Yeah.
So when I say, and the difference between me and a referral partner, like a lead-less vendor or like a typical AI or like a lead gen agency, is that I'm not just handing you cold contacts and saying good luck. I'm introducing you to companies I've already identified as having real need. And this is exactly what you guys do. I mean, this is what we do, right? We find companies that are already hiring using pain signals, whether they are posting, whether they are recently funded. So all of these signals that we use. And you can say, I'm positioning the intro in a way that makes sense for both sides. Think about it like this. You know how Hollywood, I usually always use this analogy. I say, think about it like this. You know how Hollywood agents don't personally know every director in the industry, but they know how to get their clients in the room when there's like a project that fits? Well, that's what I do. I
I
maintain
love that.
visibility into who's hiring, who's scaling, and who's got budget. And I get you with them in a room when timing matters.
How do I overcome that objection right after as well?
What objection?
It would be like, hey, I've been burned by a lead agency that said the same thing as you, pain-based signaling or whatnot. And we've invested anywhere from 3 to 4 thousand with them, and we got nothing from them.
This is actually good because they're telling you they've tried to solve this problem before, which means they believe in the solution. They just got bad execution. That's the classic, you want to say, that's the classic lead gen agency playbook. Most lead gen agencies are just volume players. First, here's how we are different. And I need you to hear this clearly. First, we're not a lead gen agency. We don't sell you leads. We make strategic introductions between you and companies that are actively hiring right now. There's a massive difference between a cold lead who filled out a form and a warm intro to a company showing real hiring signals. Second thing is we are selective about the volume. I'd rather get you 5 conversations with companies actively hiring than 50 people who just tire kickers. And the third thing, which is something that I always use, which is like the biggest one, when we enter you to a company, they know who you are and why we're connecting you. It's like, hey, I've been tracking your growth and noticed you're hiring for X. I know a recruiter who specializes in exactly that. Worth a conversation. So it's like a completely different energy than, hi, we are a lead gen agency and someone at your company might want to talk. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The agencies that burned you were transactional. They didn't care about your reputation or whether the intros actually make sense. We're relational. If I enter you to basically just garbage, I lose credibility with you and the company. So I only make intros that actually make sense for both sides. Does that address your concern? Or are you still skeptical? Because if you're still burned from the last experience, I totally get it. But let me ask you this. What specifically went wrong? Maybe I can show you how we can avoid that exact problem.
There it is.
Yeah, I like that.
See how I
There it is.
slowly just transition into that? So you're not dismissing their concern. You're kind of like validating it. I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because people get scared. You don't want to scare. You don't want to fold. Never fold under pressure. Because these signals, it's just signals you're not scared of objection. And you shouldn't. You want to hear them because you know what you can handle them, right? So when you guess, right? When you guess what happened and you're right, their brain thinks, holy shit, this person has seen this before. And you instantly become more credible because you're speaking from experience, not just theory. Okay? And you're not just saying, oh, we're better. No, you're explaining exactly how you're built different and all these, like in all these 3 concrete ways: quality over quantity, strategic intros versus cold leads, and relational versus transactional. You're not begging them to believe you. You're giving them permission to stay skeptical and asking them to articulate what specifically they're worried about. And then when you say, well, what specifically went wrong? Well, this does 2 things. A is that it gets them to relive the bad experience, which makes them emotional. And B, it gives you intel on exactly what objection to handle.
It makes total sense.
Is it worth to literally just share your screen, show your Instagram campaign?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, that's a really good question. You see this question, guys? When they ask who are the companies, what do you say? Yeah, use the white label case studies. Do you guys have any more objections we can tackle? Because I think you guys want the objections more. What I would recommend you guys always go for, which is exactly how I like structure my stuff, I get a higher upfront fee, and then I skip the paper intro and I go straight for commission. That way I'm more profitable, which means more cash flow for my company, and I still get money long term. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about three things. The first thing is signal intelligence. You're probably doing outreach to companies based on basic filters like industry, company size, job title. But what we do is we implement something called paint sniffing. We're connecting you with companies showing real buying intent, companies that just raised money, companies that are scaling headcounts, companies with leadership changes that signal expansion. We monitor those signals daily. So when we connect you, it's not random, strategic timing. That's why we are so good at what we do, because we're hitting people when they're actually feeling the pain. Second thing is obviously positioning. When you like send an outreach message to someone, you're coming in as just another recruiter trying to sell. When we introduce you, the framing is different because we are a connector. We're not pitching, we're connecting. And the third thing is basically just bandwidth. I mean, you're running your recruitment agency, closing deals, managing placements. Who's actually running your outreach? You? Someone on your team? Like, how much time are you actually spending on all this stuff? So what we can do for you is we can handle the entire front end so you can actually focus on what you were good at, closing deals and placing candidates. We are the operators here. You're the recruiter. So we can handle distribution for you while you handle delivery. Signal intelligence, smarter targeting, better positioning, bandwidth, which is time savings.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just doing it better and faster. Because sales is basically you're selling something that you can do better, faster, and easier.
One of them I handled really beautifully. I'll sell that to you. But usually they're like, hey, we don't have time to have you ask questions about us. Because usually I'm like, this is a synopsis of what we do. But I use this doctor thing. Like, before giving you the medication, you want to make sure the symptoms are right. But like,
Yeah.
we don't have time to address symptoms right now. Like, just tell me what you're doing, what the pricing is.
In 30 seconds, for example. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, when they're Russian, yeah. I think when I first got started, I had someone who said this.
Intros are
That's
able
just
to
a
get us.
test, man. They're testing you. They want to see if we be desperate and we'll scramble. So you can
Mm.
say, yeah, no problem. I'll keep it quick. But before I explain what we do, I need to ask you two fast questions so I'm not wasting your time. Sounds good? And by the way, don't
Okay.
wait for them to say yes. Just keep going with confidence.
Mm.
So here's how I would play it. Yeah, no problems. Like keep it quick. But before I explain what we do, I need to ask you two fast questions so I'm not wasting your time. Sounds good? So first, what types? See?
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Good.
First,
Okay.
what types of placements makes you the most amount of money and what role and industry? And they'll answer usually quickly because it's about them. Once they
Mhm.
do that, well,
Yeah.
got it. Second question, if I could get you 5 more introductions this month with companies actively hiring, repeat what they just said. Is that worth 15 minutes of your time right now?
Mm.
See? You don't scramble. You don't panic and start pitching. Because that's the panic. If they say, well, you have 5 minutes, just tell me now. Well, you're going to pitch. But now you have
Yeah.
your own entire sales script. But now you start pitching and then you want to be in control. So instead of you trying to prove value to them, you're qualifying whether they are worth your time. It's kind of like a psychological power move. And when they
Mhm.
answer, what makes you the most money? They're literally telling you what they care about. Now you know exactly how to position it. And then you just force them for like a binary choice. Commit or walk away by asking like, hey, is that worth 15 minutes? Just making them say yes or just hang up. Either way, you're not chasing, right? All right, guys. Thank you for coming in and have a great rest of the day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Talk to you Tuesday. All right. Cheers to you
Take care,
guys.
Saad. Thank you
Peace.
so much, man. Really appreciate you.